To make real halal money online, you only need a few skills. And I should know because alhamdulillah, over the last 7 years, I've been doing business online full time, always online from day one. And I've actually coached a lot of Muslims through the process of starting a business as well, hundreds of them at this point. And overall in my career, I've probably generated over $2 million online as well. And because I don't have any business course to sell you here, I can be fully open, transparent about the real skills that actually get you success, taking you from making nothing to making tens of thousands a month, inshallah. These are the exact same skills that helped me and the people that I've coached to getting success in their business. There are 5 key skills, and in my opinion, number 2 is the most important. So firstly, it's the skill of marketing and sales. This is actually the only skill you need to go full-time in business, meaning making $3,000 to $5,000 a month. You can do that just by being good at this. You don't need to be good at hiring people, managing people, even making good products at this point. You can just make money from being good at sales at that small, low level of around $4,000 a month. And what does it mean to be good at marketing and sales? Well, it just means that you can communicate clearly. You understand the customer, you can really get into their mind, and you know how to research and speak to the ideal customer. And you can express that clearly and make it clear what the benefits are of this product to the ideal customer. And really good marketing actually repels the wrong people and it attracts the right people. It's not manipulative at all. It's just persuasive, by which it makes the things that are good to that right person more attractive and clearer, and it overcomes the objections that would naturally come up in someone's head. And for me, a summary of how to learn good marketing, good sales, is to just get good at copywriting. So there are a lot of books out there and courses and videos on YouTube on how to be good at copywriting. That's kind of what you want to focus on, because if you're good at copywriting, it means you're good at just writing persuasive words, which means you can also speak persuasive words, which means you get a good grip on sales as well as marketing at the same time. There are a few books that I would recommend here. Some of them are on my shelf over there. The first is The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. This is a really good book, really short, but it just gives you the 22 immutable laws, and it really opens your mind to the principles, the foundations of what makes good marketing and bad marketing. Next is the classic book Influence by Robert Cialdini. It's really solid on just how to influence people, which is what copywriting, marketing, sales is all about. So I highly recommend that as well. It gives you, I believe, 7 principles of how to influence people. And finally, a really good book that focuses on copywriting, like actually writing persuasive words, is Cash Advertising. It's a more modern book, but it summarizes a lot of the great points in the older books written by the classic copywriters. So this is the first skill, copywriting, which is a summary, if you like, of marketing and sales in a way. So that's why I recommend you learn as a main skill, and this alone will be enough, inshallah, for you to go full time. The second high value skill to learn is how to take action. It sounds kind of funny because we go through life thinking, if I want to do something, I do it. But that's not really how we work, is it? You're probably watching this wishing that you'd taken action on your business or worked harder on your business or started your business by now, but you haven't. Why is that? Well, it's often due to procrastination. And procrastination stops you taking action. If you don't take action, you really go nowhere. I know it sounds obvious. Even if you took some action, but bad quality action or the wrong action, at least you would learn from it. But when you take no action, you really get nothing. In fact, you just kind of sink into shame and regret, and it gets worse and worse until you give up on your dreams. So that's why it's the most important high value skill to learn, in my opinion, the skill of beating past procrastination and taking aggressive action. And to do this, there are 3 barriers in your way. The first is the negative self-talk and the doubts that are in your head. You need to learn the skill of fighting those off. Number 2 is not having clarity. Once you get very clear on your direction in life, on your goal that you're working on right now, and on the next few steps, then it gets rid of a lot of the procrastination that happens and comes into our minds and stops us from taking that next step. And the third thing is you need measurement. You need to measure how much progress you've made, what is your actual goal. You need to be very clear on that, and you need accountability. When you measure, then you need someone to hold you accountable to that specific measurement of success. So these 3 barriers are the things that stop people taking action and cause people to procrastinate. If you beat all 3 of them down, then you will learn this high value skill of taking aggressive action. The next high value skill is the ability to commit to a goal and go all in. A lot of people, when they say they have a goal or they claim they have a goal, they even just tell themselves and no one else that they have a certain goal. They don't act as though this is an all-in. They don't act with an all-in mentality. They don't commit fully to the success. Somebody might say, I want to start a business, but do they invest money in that? Do they invest time in that? Do they say, this in the next 3 months, I must achieve this goal. That absolutely must happen. And I must put in enough time, enough money, enough resources, energy, etc. and say no to other things in order to achieve it. I must do that. Most people are way more passive with their goals. They might buy a course when they get excited in the moment, but then they say life got in the way. But this is the skill. It's the skill of saying no to distractions. And by the way, a lot of distractions are good things, right? Your friend might come and say, yo, I'm going to start memorizing the Quran. Do you want to, do it alongside me? But you've committed to this goal now. You need to say no to even those really good things. Someone else might come and say, yeah, I'm planning on going for an Umrah trip, but that will get in the way of your next 3 months goals. You have to say, no, I'll go alone later, or next time you go, I'll come with you. You have to say no to good things, to good goals. You have to say no to them to achieve what you're really focused on right now. So to succeed at something which is as tricky as business, and it can be very tricky, although it's simple, but it is hard. In order to succeed in that, you need to have an all-in mentality. And you need to say to yourself, what action could I take that if I didn't succeed in this specific goal, whatever it is, it would be unreasonable, right? It would be an anomaly that I didn't succeed. Because most people, if you tell them, I did this, and I didn't succeed, I didn't reach that goal of $5,000 or whatever it was, they would be like, oh, that's strange. You seem to have done everything necessary. That's the type of work you need to put in. Not to mention, of course, the tawakkul, the dua, the istighfar to get rid of your sins that hold you back, and just working. And the next high value skill is kind of linked to going all in, but it's its own one. And it's so important that I made it a separate skill. And that is the skill of focusing. What does that mean? It means stripping away your goals to the minimum and then executing hard on that thing. It's kind of like when a plane is taking off, the hardest time and the most fuel and work intensive time for that plane is when it's taking off. It uses about a third of its fuel just to take off. And then it will cruise for like 7 hours on the rest of the fuel. So much of the fuel is used just to take off because it's really hard work. So when you're starting something new, like a business, or maybe you're in a new growth phase of your business that you've not experienced before, you need to be really focused. You can't be memorizing Quran, learning Arabic, trying to get fit, going gym 5 days a week, and working on your business and your day job. That's not going to work. You need to really focus. And again, focusing requires discipline. The discipline to not do certain things that you don't think will really move the needle, the discipline not to go to other goals, and the ability to say no to certain goals. And me personally, I benefited from this so much. When I first got some business success, it came from when we started saying no to certain clients. We had a marketing agency, and at first we were serving all clients. And then we were going after taxi companies because we got a few clients in that industry. And we're going after taxi companies, but we weren't getting too successful at getting those clients. So we started going after dentists, and we were split here. We were not focused. Once we focused more, we started to get more revenue. And then a few years later, when we were doing more of a training consulting company, we went from about $20,000, $30,000 a month to up to $100,000 in a month. How did we focus? We started selling one product using one method of selling, which was a webinar, with one main source of traffic, which was ads. And when we did that, the business went from 30K up to 100K, and we started consistently doing 50 to 100K every single month. And that was because of the focus. Why? Because we got so focused on fewer things that we became better at each one. You say that, well, I could do 5 different things and do them all well. But the reality is that it just doesn't work like that. At least at the beginning, focus on fewer things, master them, then move on to other things and master them. And that is what real focus looks like. And the 5th high value skill that you need to succeed in your business, to get all your dreams fulfilled, inshallah, in this life, and use this life as a leverage for the next life, inshallah, is the ability to think, to plan, to act long term. To not just be trying to make money this month, thinking about this month, going buying a course, be like, oh, where's my $10,000 this month? But no, to have a long vision for your life and to understand that business is a skill like anything else. You went to university, you spent 3-4 years there. Then you got a job. You spent 3-4 years getting experience and good at that job. So why would business be any different? In fact, business is often harder because you need to master your own mind. And there's no one there forcing you to do the hard work. You need to learn the discipline, the aggressive action taking ability, the ability to beat procrastination, to push yourself forward. So it really challenges you as a person. And you need to think long term, because your first business might not be your successful business. You might start out at a business that won't really make you more than $10,000 a month, for example, but that is going full time. And once you can go full time, you open up a lot more freedom to then pursue other things. So maybe today you're starting on a business that has that ceiling, but then in 5 years, you'll have the skills to start a different type of business that has a ceiling of $100,000 a month. So you need to think long term, because otherwise you'll give up. If you don't get the results very quickly, you'll just give up. You need to see this as a years-long thing. And it doesn't have to take years, but just often it will take a few years to really get things going in your business. You might be able to go full-time in your first year, second year, but in order to really master a lot of these skills in business, it will take a while. Me personally, it took me 4 different businesses until I actually was able to go full-time from the money I was making on it. And those 4 businesses were spread out over about 3-4 years. So it required a lot of trying and then realizing that kind of failed, then moving on to the next one. And when you're thinking long-term, you're way more able to get up and go again when you've been hit. You know, there was a time we were making about £20,000 a month, and then a client that was paying us £7,000, he left. So about a third of our revenue was gone just like that overnight. And I remember feeling that lump in my stomach when we got that call, and it just hurts, but you have to get up and go again. There was another time when I decided to go to Hajj. I spent over £6,000 going to Hajj. My first son was just going to be born straight after Hajj. And that month, we had a very slow month, and I made £500. £500 was sent to me, and I had to buy all this stuff for the new child, and I just spent £6,000 going to Hajj. But what do? You have to dust yourself off and get back to it. And because I did that, I'm still around doing business 7 years later. I've had some really high moments of making 100,000 in a month, and I've had moments making £500 a month as well. So it will be a rocky journey, but you've got to embrace that. And when you have that long-term vision, you'll actually enjoy it more. And now, because the biggest skill that you'll need to be successful in business is the ability to fight procrastination and take aggressive action on your goals despite having doubts, having negative self-talk, you need to watch this video next. It will explain why that happens and exactly how to crush it. Go watch that now.